Come on in, tag and share to friends. As I journey on my road of the love, I promise him that I won't turn away. Yeah, because I love him so. That's why I give him all of me. As I journey on, I know he'll never leave or forsake me. He promised that he won't. Yeah, come and go with me. Hey, Cyber World, welcome again to Arlene's Renaissance. Good morning. It's good to see you. Good to be back. Talking about a subject today, that is just insane. The 2025 project in the Trump 47. And in fact, the entire segment today is devoted to that. It's so long, we're going to have to break them up. We're going to start with 2025 and then we're going to go on to 47, Trump 47, which they are two different things. They are not the same, albeit they contain some of the same components, or basically the same outcome. Their goal and aim is basically the same, to give absolute power to the president and make us all Christians, mandate Christianity, I suppose. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, before I get started though, just a couple things. I was out last night here in Savannah. We're having just the worst storming and flooding I've seen since I've been here. And they had a tornado warning last night right here where I live at, and terrible flooding. And I had to go out last night. We had a church program last night. We had the anniversary, second anniversary of the pastor there, Elder Warren Andrews. And then we were celebrating the apostles and his wife's, Molly's anniversary. And so we were out. I just wanted to put posters up here because these brave souls came through all that weather last night and, fought their way through it. And it wasn't just the weather, it was all the flooding. We're in the lowlands here and it floods easily and quickly, but it also dissipates quickly, which is also very interesting. But you can, your street can become a river quickly. So depending on what street you go down. So yeah, it was pretty harrowing. And so all those who braved their ways through it, I think we were blessed because of it. But anyway, and before I get started, let me go with my paparazzi bling today. My paparazzi bling today is, this is just Urban Pieces. These are old, but I got these again from ZJC, Zenobia Bailey. I love Urban because it goes with, just about any outfit you want to put on. And I have on just an Urban piece. It's just it looks like a rock, really. It's just a rock if you look at it closely. But I love stuff like that. And so I have it on with my sweats and a tee. So I'll step back and let you take a look at that. So really simple outfit. If you're just hanging out with the girls, y'all want to go do something, whatever, you go in, get something to eat, brunch, whatever. And I love it. It's very urban and very simple, very natural. Anyway, so I said last week, before you delve into 2025, you must watch the movie Bad Faith. It's on Tubi TV. Bad Faith, Badfaith. And it's on Tubi TV, which is Tubi. And for you old heads like myself, you can ask a younger person, hey, thanks for joining me today. You can ask a younger person how to put it on your television because it's free on there. Tubi TV is free. You can put it on your phone or your TV, and then you can watch this movie, and it will give you the backdrop of how they came up with the foundation for 2025. And it's important that you watch it first because a lot of it won't make sense to you just going by looking at 2025. You'll see how the foundation was laid and where they're trying to go and how the end result will harm you. And it also talks about Christian nationalism, and that, I mean, basically it's a false god. You're worshiping at something that has nothing to do with Christianity. Since our kingdom isn't even, his kingdom isn't even of this earth anyway. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject for another day. Anyway, so I saw that, let me take my coffee here. Excuse me. It basically weaponized our faith. It's masquerading as religion. It's not religion. It has nothing to do with Christianity. I don't know why they're blending the two. So I don't know. I don't understand it. That ideology, it just exploits scripture with extremist objectives. And so as a person of faith, I find it not only a bit offensive, but also very dangerous. Some of the worst atrocities in the world have been in the name of their faith and their religion. And it's usually, meted out on the less fortunate in whatever society it is. There are reasons why we have checks and balances of Congress and the Senate and the Supreme Court, and we don't want them all to agree. You want them to have differing opinions. You never want to have a monarchy here or to have a what they consider a theocratic government, because it's only a theocratic government if God is the head. I'm sorry, I just don't see Donald Trump in that position. And I don't see any man or woman in that position. So I don't understand their whole basis and their whole premise, other than extremism. Wow. But anyway, so it'll also explain to you a lot about the Heritage Foundation. You're going to hear a lot about the Heritage Foundation, and what does that mean, and who these people are, and how did it get like that. So, but if you watch the movie, it will give you a basic foundation for all of it. So let's delve into this. Project 2025. Clips. I've already established it's not the same as Trump 47. We'll go into Trump 47 possibly in a couple of weeks, because it's going to take more than 1 week than a couple of times to deal with all this. And matter of fact, I don't think I'm going to be able to. There's someone else who's airing it. I think I put it on my page. And she's a well-known politicist, and she's going to delve into it, line per line and precept by precept to give you, a clearer understanding of it. Because it's 920 page mandate. Okay. There's no way in a half an hour I can go through a 920 page mandate with you. It just can't happen. And you wouldn't want to read it either. So you're going to have to catch someone's synopsis of it at some point. So, and if you don't trust that, then you can go in and read it yourself. But I think, it's a non-issue to me, simply because all you need to do is vote. Just vote. Get your ID and you can vote and stop them from implementing voter laws that would stop you from voting. From simply getting an ID. Just an ID. There's no reason in this world, if a person has their birth certificate and their social security card, you should ever deny them an ID, a state ID. It shouldn't be tied to anything. I didn't say a state driver's license. I said a state ID, and many people are unaware of that fact. That many petty crimes, like a DUI or things like that, they'll stop you from even getting an ID. Depending on your state. Yeah. Anyway. So the 2025 Presidential Transition Project, which is also known as Project, is an initiative organized by the Heritage Foundation. Remember back in the days of Jerry Falwell and all of them? Maybe you all won't remember that. That was back quite a few years back. When they decided how to get that flush money into politics and get their will implemented upon the people because they saw their America, the Christian America, or they thought was a Christian America. I don't see how Christian it could have ever been, keeping us as slaves. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Glad you joined me this morning. I'm talking about that 2025. I saw you have a CD coming out. Is that you all's CD, that you and the guys that went back in the studio? I didn't get a chance. I checked the thing out, but I didn't get the link or something to go to it. But it looks interesting. It looks good. I love the stuff y'all did before. I didn't know you all back in the studio again. But yeah, I'm talking about this 2025 Presidential Transition Project and the Heritage Foundation. It's the baby that's birthed by then. Oh, okay. I'm glad it is. I'm glad. Yeah, it looks good, but it looks good. I can't wait to sit down and check it out. And I'm not gonna get you off the hook because I've been waiting for my beats. Now I'm back in a band again. I did finally hook up with a band here, and I haven't gotten all the particulars and details about what we're going to be doing and who the people are, so that's why I haven't come out with it yet, because I would like to introduce it and tell you who they are, but I need their background, history, etc. I don't know enough about the area, the region, or the people, so I will get that. And that's a big concert thing that's coming up for a feed the homeless thing we're doing down here. They're going to be, I think it's to raise money or something like that. And so I was glad that I had the time. Yeah. Send me the song. Yeah, send me the song, 'cause I can't wait to hear it. So I can't wait to do it. And, I've been rehearsing and exercising at Long Branch, or AKA Rack 'em Up. That's what I was basically doing, trying to get my wind back and get my vocals back, because it is a muscle and you have to exercise it. And you don't always want to exercise it in your home because you drive your neighbors crazy. So you go where it's noisy and people are noisy, so it's not as disturbing. And so, but I am going to be back in the band, and we are slated to have our rehearsals starting next week. Well, that's okay. It doesn't matter. It can be rough around the edges. I mean, you should see the rough drafts of what I come up with. Like these songs that I play right now, the rough drafts were like D-E-B. They were just simple melodies at first, and I played around with them, and I got some band members to work with me. So, and I, of course, give them credit as co-writers and things like that. So, I don't cheat people. But that's how it started, so don't ever feel like that. Yeah. But anyway, I'm back out there now, and I'm going to see if I have the stamina for it. I have like 5 songs to sing, which is about a set. So I'm thinking they'll break it up a bit because there are other people, that are singing. So they've got like 2 or 3 or 4 songs, something like that. So it'll be a pretty long function. I think it's one of those outdoor functions in a big square or something. And so that should be really fun and a good chance to meet people down here in Savannah and in the music industry and things like that. Because we got a young lady at our church, and the little girl, she got to be like 17 or 18. She plays the bass at church. And I tell you, I just sit back marveling at her. I was like last night, I said, "Go ahead, girl, I see you." She's just doing it like it ain't nothing, like, whatever. Okay, you got me on my beats. Okay, I'm waiting on my beats too. Hey, Michael, what's up with you? I'm sorry I haven't gotten back, buddy, but I've just been so busy and ripping and running. Mostly I've been working. Because even though I'm, retired, I still, whenever I can, get out and do manual labor. It helps me a great deal. I don't know if anybody's an arthritis sufferer. I am. And as long as you keep moving with arthritis, you stay pretty agile, and you keep your weight down, and diet and exercise. It minimalizes its effects and things like that. You know it's there. You still know it's there, but you have very few bad days. I mean, I only have bad days when I don't eat right and drink my water and. So, yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad you love my smile. Yeah. So, but it's going to be fun. I can't wait to get back into that and everything. So that should be, I haven't been in a band. Well, I did have my own band for a while when I was going to say I've been in a band since I was a, young woman, like in my early 20s. But no, I then later on started my I had my own band when I was doing, once I did my CD and I got my own band and we were doing gospel plays at that time. And I still have a tape of one of those. I should play it one day for you guys. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's an old one. And the band, that's my band and me. And I think it's on a VHS tape, to be honest with you. Now, look, that's me telling y'all how old I am. That thing is on a VHS tape. Yes, it is. At least I didn't say 8-track. True story. But it was, that was a lot of fun. But I just marveled at that little girl last night. But I'm going to get back into this. And yeah, VHS tape, that's a classic, ain't it? But I'm going to get back into it. I was kind of leery of doing it because you don't know. The thing about aging is you never know what's appropriate for your age. Because you don't want to look stupid. You know what?
Powering on.
Like you're going through some existential, midlife crisis or something. I'm definitely not doing that, but I just,
Powering on. Ready to care.
And so I felt like, and then I have to make sure I'm dressing age appropriately, but I don't want to look like somebody's grandmama at the same time. And so it's a little different than when I was younger. There are many other things that I have to give thought to. Like my subject matter and, the venues and things like that. When I was young, I didn't care. It didn't matter to me. I'll sing, Juicy Fruit. I don't matter to me. But I shy away from that these days. I'm a senior citizen, so those things are frowned upon when it's a senior. Yeah, so, but yeah, I'm gonna do that, and hopefully I can get some live recordings here online. I was thinking about it the other day. I don't know, because it's actually going to be other people's music we're playing. And even though it's live, I'm not sure what the rules and regulations are. Hey, Franny, it's good to see you, girl. Fran, I was just saying I'm going to be singing in a band again after many, many years. And we're going to be doing an outside venue. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to put it on here, though, because we'll be singing other people's music. And, sometimes they have, restrictions. Rightly so. Don't get me wrong. Because that's the copyright. That's their music. And so even though it's a venue that's promoting, it's free. It's for donations and things like that. It's nonprofit. So maybe they'll air it because it is a nonprofit thing. We're not trying to make money off of it. I'm not trying to make money off of it. So hopefully we'll be able to air some of it so you can see it. But it's going to be fun either way. I'll just put it this way. I never envisioned myself doing this at 63 years old. I just never, ever. I thought I would be sitting on my porch, So it's a different life than I thought it was going to be. So just be open for different things in life. I'm just saying all that to say that you never know what God's going to bring your way. So, and don't count yourself out of anything because of your age. You can still enjoy some of the things you did when you were younger. Even if you change up what you do. Yeah, I remember saying, Fran, I listened to one of my old tapes the other day, and I didn't even know who that was singing. I said, girl, you was singing your butt off when you was young, and I didn't have, I know it was nice, but I didn't know it was that nice. But I thought about it the other day when I saw all the things that those girls go through in the music industry, and, with the advent of, the sexually transmitted diseases being passed out back then. And, when AIDS first came out, or we first became aware of it, and how it hit the entertainment industry and the drugs and the men and, things we see going on today, how those girls are being treated. I sat there and I said, I am so glad that I did not advance further in that industry when I was younger, because they would have eaten me alive. yeah, I would have been unprepared for the level of just viciousness that's there. Even today as a seasoned senior, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine a man punching me and dragging me down the hallway, and I go out with him and everybody's, heralding us and snapping pictures, and I'm gonna do it because, I've been so conditioned and influenced by this, and I want this thing so badly. And I would have done that. I mean, people look at her and say, why would you? You don't know, because you're young, you're inexperienced, you're easily influenced, you admire these people. So I thought about that, and I said, God, sometimes the doors you shut and things you didn't get at a certain time in your life are truly a blessing. I think I'm better equipped for something like that now because I know myself, and I know how to set boundaries with people and say, well, no, I'm not going to do that. And no, I don't like being treated that way. So I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. Now, I would have done it wisely, not stand toe to toe with the man. I simply would have found a way to get out and never come back. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad those doors weren't open to me because I was too young for it. I was easily, not easily manipulated, but I could be swayed because of inexperience. And so, yeah, I really feel for these young people that got out here and just got turned around and, beat up by the industry and people. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad. But I listened to that and I said, oh, my God, girl, I was singing Mother's Finest. There is no girl. I used to sing that thing all the time. Like it was nothing, with high heel shoes on. Dancing the whole time. Girl, I laughed to myself. I said, man, when you're young, you don't know how young you are until you're not young anymore. Yeah, I mean, I can still sing the song, but I gotta change the key a little bit. I know me and Evelyn were so good together. She was my buddy best. Boom, cool, pow. And we just separated from life. We went in different directions. She got married, had a baby. Her husband was in the service. He came back, and their life got serious real fast. And my life was young, single, working, get your first place life, it was different. And then I was really, really, really busy. I started singing, and I mean, I started singing. I was singing in clubs, I was singing in bands, I was singing in everywhere, competitions. I mean, and I really, I didn't think I didn't know I would get that busy. Because remember, in high school, I only sang in a talent show. I never sang out yet, and even though I was just scared, I was an introvert. I just didn't do it. And that fact, when I lived over there with you guys, that was my first talent show. I am not lying. My first talent show was at Crossland Senior High School. I wait till I was in senior. And I was nervous then. So yeah, I just didn't do it. Hey, Gary, how you doing? We're going to talk about that 2025. I'm glad you're on here. Because I was just saying, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Bad Faith movie on Tubi, but it lays the foundation so you understand better who these people are, who the players are, and who the perpetrators are. And I have a graph that I took from a clip that I took from the movie Bad Faith, and I'm going to pan the camera around before I leave and show that on my screen so you can see that and the things that they're talking about. There's just an illustration. And then there's another one on there that shows how all the segments of society that they knew they would have to take control of to get their agenda out and get their agenda accomplished. And it's wow. It's expansive. And I just said to everyone else, the thing is, and by the way, you wanted to go through the whole thing. We can't. It's 920 pages. Yeah, 920 pages. There's no way I can go through it in one day. And so that's why I posted the woman who is doing she's doing it, she's taking out the whole thing. And so I'm going to repost her information. So you have that. But I would say a precursor before you watch it, you need to watch the movie Bad Faith. It will explain all of the Christian nationalism and, all that rhetoric and how they themselves used birth control. Used abortion just to get their agenda out. That it really had nothing to do with agenda. They really wanted to stack the Supreme Court. Nothing to do with abortion. Not for the politicians anyway. And I guess they didn't mind using each other as long as each other got what they wanted, I guess. But I don't think I would want to get in bed with that. I just don't think it's a good idea. It might turn around and bite you, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, the Presidential Transition Project, that's what Project 2025 is. I'm just going to go over some highlights today, some things I brought out about it. It envisions widespread changes to the government, particularly economic and social policies, and the role of the federal government and its agencies. The plan proposes taking partisan control of the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, that's right, the Department of Commerce, the Federal Communications Commission, the Federal Trade Commission, dismantling the Department of Homeland Security, and sharply reducing environmental and climate change regulations. So let me just go back a bit. The Department of Justice, the people that prosecuted the criminals who decided they were going to overthrow our government. Now we want to take control of that so that never happens to us again and we can do whatever we want. And we also want to take control of the FBI who investigated us and found us in our things. And so we don't want that to happen again. So we want to control them. And we also want to control the Department of Commerce, and you know why we want that. And the FCC, because I can't say what I want. And I can't do what I want. So I want to control it so I can say what I want. And you can only print what I approve. And those books that I don't believe in, let's get rid of those. They're not real anyway. So what? Those things didn't happen like they said and whatever. And the Federal Trade Commission, and you know why you want to get rid of that one. Oh, they're not getting rid of it. They're just taking control of it. They want to dismantle the Department of Homeland Security. Well, why would a Christian nationalist want to dismantle the Department of Homeland Security? I don't know. Maybe they were keeping tabs on you and what you were doing, terrorizing your citizens. I don't know. That's what Homeland Security does, right? So for white supremacists, yeah. And, I'm not really comfortable with the fact that those segments of society are so welcome within the confines of your movement. Just going to say that right here and right now. Why are they so comfortable there? Why are they right at home within your organization? They fit right in. Why does white supremacy and the Christian nationalists fit so well together? Why? Is it because you believe that is God's elect and God's chosen people? I'm not understanding. Make it make sense to me. Anyway, they want they want to dismantle that. They and sharply reduce environmental and climate change regulations to favor fossil fuel production. And guess whose pockets that's going to fill? Are you all watching this? Are you seeing this like it really is? Or are you just buying this no job? Because that's what it really is. Yeah. The blueprint seeks to institute tax cuts. Yeah. Though its writers disagree on the wisdom of protectionism. Yeah. But they'll eventually arrive there, right? Project 2025 recommends abolishing the Department of Education. We saw how well Mr. Bose did. That was just a disaster, whose programs will be either transferred to other agencies or terminated. Like all those great programs that they had when I was coming up that helped us to become tradesmen and become secretaries and helped us become all kinds of things and get our driver's licenses. All those programs that were in the schools before, like wood shop and metal shop and plumbing and all those things that we could, you mean all those programs you took out of the schools? Anyway, would be transferred to other agencies or terminated. And I wonder which agencies, and then where would the funds be parceled out? And who would determine that? Funding for climate research would be cut, and the National Institutes of Health would be reformed according to conservative principles. Wow. Projects seek to cut funding for Medicare and Medicaid. Wow. On the National Institutes of Health. All right. Well, what are conservative principles when it comes to my health? I'm not understanding. Aren't these the same people who didn't want to take a vaccine? What if I said that I wanted to make a law where it was mandatory? It was against my faith for you not to take that vaccine, and we're a country under God, and it is mandatory. And whenever something like this comes up, I don't care what your beliefs are. To stay in this country, you must do this. You think that's far-fetched? I don't think it is. See, because it starts slow. It starts with one thing. It'll start with abortion. Then it'll be birth control. And then it'll be jailing you for birth control. But we never seem to get to the male side of the equation. Have you ever noticed that? We never get to the male side of the equation.
On. Ready to tell.
And
Paired.
And what he has provided to the situation. But I guess that's the norm, yeah. Yeah, for a matriarchal Caucasian society that they're looking for. Yeah. Right. Clearly. It proposes terminating diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and affirmative action by having the Department of Justice prosecute. Get this. The audacity for me, okay? This is the caucasity. I'm just going to call it what it is. The Caucasian audacity here. They're so put upon the white man. Oh my God, he's been so downtrodden all of his days, and he's been so haunted and so beat upon, and he's lost so much that he needs to prosecute the Department of Justice to prosecute people for anti-white racism. I kid you not. Anti-white racism. So anti-white supremacy is anti-white racism, according to them probably. I've never seen anything less supreme. To think you are better than another human being in God's eyes simply because your skin has no melanin. You cannot get any dumber than that. When clearly, as a Christian, in him all it calls for is the blood of Jesus. If you believe that in your Christian nationalism. Wow. I remember a particular scripture where they were getting on the Israelites, I believe, because they weren't doing dutifully. I think they weren't making it was the division of the goods, I believe, provision for the widows. And they were favoring their widows and not the ones who weren't of their, and God that comes in, nah. We don't do this in my house. Just because they're not of your descendants and they're of someone else's, we're going to give ours more of the goods for widows. No, we don't do that here. You parse it out equitably. In fact, I want you to assign people who are capable and able of doing this justly. So if you assign a crooked, and an evil judge who you know is not going to do it justly, and who you know a congressman and a senator is not going to do it justly? What are you saying? What do you think you're doing? And you're calling that Christianity? That's no. So anti-white, it just, isn't that mighty white of you? Anti-white racism. Yeah, I'm against you all. Yeah, I'm against you all doing the things that you've done. Yeah, I'm against you hoarding. I'm against your coveting. I'm against your murdering. I'm against all that crap. Yeah, I'm against your redlining. I'm against you keeping keeping them from getting a decent education. I'm against your mass incarceration, turning them back into slaves again. I'm against your prison for profit system. Yeah, I'm against a whole lot of things. The project recommends the arrest, detention, and deportation of illegal immigrants living in the U.S. It proposes deploying the military or domestic law enforcement. Wow. For domestic law enforcement. As if the police weren't enough. Raining down on us on your war against drugs. Isn't it amazing how the war against drugs just went away? Isn't it amazing? Once meth became a problem, no more war on drugs. We're a compassionate nation now, and we love you. We're going to find a way to get you some help. Isn't it wonderful? Can we all just get along? Yeah, you gotta love it. Anyway, keep on going on to Project 2025. On July 5, 2024, Trump publicly distanced himself from Project 2025, saying, he knew nothing about it and that some of his ideas were ridiculous and abysmal. Some critics dismissed Trump claims, pointing to the involvement of figures close to Trump in the project. The distancing came days after Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts suggested in an interview that there would be a second American Revolution, which Democrats and others criticized as a veiled threat of violence. The project has described a battle plan to regain control of the government. And so once you have control over the government, you want to then control us and make us do what? Make us be what? Let's get to the end thing you're trying to get to. Because I know ain't none of this going to make us Christians. So I know that's not the goal and aim you reaching for. None of this is going to bring about Christianity for anybody. Anybody. So what is your end goal other than to make a king? To transfer power from the people to a handful of people. Or one person. Is that your end goal? Let's see. Because you want to stack the Supreme Court. Yeah, you do. Anyway. Wow. Let's keep going. Project 2025, the gift that just keeps on giving. Heritage calls its mandate a policy Bible. Heritage claims that almost 2/3 of its 1981 mandate were attempted by Ronald Reagan, and nearly 2/3 of its 2015 mandate were attempted by Donald Trump. Well, I don't doubt that they were. Do you remember how well we fared under Ronald Reagan? Poor and brown communities. Do you remember how well you fared under Ronald Reagan? Yeah. That. Oh, the economy? The trillions of dollars in deficit? But you fared well. And we got a great campaign out of the Reagans for our drug problem. Just say no. Millions of dollars wasted. So I guess that should be the same solution for the meth problem. Mass incarcerate them, make slaves out of them, and spend millions of dollars on a campaign that says, just say no. Whatever. Yeah. So anyway, the mandates attempted that are being attempted by Don. So even though he's distanced himself away from Project 2025, they basically have a lot of the same elements. Okay. Basically the same end result, giving him ultimate power. Basically. The Heritage Foundation is closely aligned with Trump and coordinates the initiative with a constellation of conservative groups run by Trump allies. Heritage President Kevin Roberts sees the organization's current role as institutionalizing Trumpism. Project 2025 was established in 2022 to provide the 2024 Republican presidential nominee with a personnel, database, and ideological framework after civil servants refused to support Trump during his attempt to institute a Muslim travel ban. His effort to install a new attorney general to assist him in his attempts to overturn the 2020 election and his call for the use of lethal force during the George Floyd protests. So in other words, without this thing in place, which we have in place for just such these things, so we don't have tyrants, so we don't have kings, so we don't have dictators who can decide that they can do whatever they want, overthrow the government, set out lethal weapons on people who are protesting about unjust and unfair treatment, who haven't gotten justice in your courts anywhere. So these are the things that he would like to do, run those people over with bullets. Yes, let the looting start, let the shooting start. I guess he would have done the same thing to the Boston Tea Massacre people who would just throw the tea over the boat. But anyway, anywho, that's another subject, for all those people who are about love of country. Anyway, the Attorney General, his system overturned the election. So if that wasn't in place, he would have his own Attorney General. So even if he lost, his Attorney General would have overturned it. And so he could be president and be king anyway. So we didn't have these things in place. That's what he would have done. And so they're telling you, I didn't like that. You tell me what I couldn't do. I got a slap on the wrist for serious crimes. And I'm going to make sure this never happens again. This atrocity in America, my America. No, sir, it is our America. Yeah. All of us. I'm sorry. You brought us here. Get over it. We here now. Yeah. Yeah. And you brought in all the other immigrants. Once you were finished using them, though, once you could get their technology and use their brains, now you don't need them no more. Wow. Amazing. Well, yeah. So think that through. So if you get rid of all of these safety nets that we have in place to stop a dictatorship, to stop a Hitler, if you get rid of all those, then what are you left with? Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Don't you get it twisted, okay? In April 2023, the Heritage Foundation published the 920-page mandate written by hundreds of conservatives, most prominently former Trump administration officials. Nearly half of the project's collaborating organizations have received dark money contributions from a network of fundraising groups linked to Leonard Leo, a major conservative donor and key figure in guiding the selection of Trump's federal judicial nominees. There you have it right there. Let me go back and read it to you again so you can know what it's really about. In April 2023, the Heritage Foundation published the 920-page mandate written by hundreds of conservatives, most prominently former Trump administration officials. Nearly half of the project's collaborating organizations have received dark money contributions from a network of fundraising groups linked to Leonard Leo, a major conservative donor and key figure in guiding the selection of Trump's federal judicial nominees. Yeah, that part right there. The 2024 Trump campaign said no outside group speaks for Trump and that its Agenda 47 is the only official plan for a second Trump presidency. Two top Trump campaign officials later issued a statement seeking to distance the campaign from what unspecified outside groups were planning. You mean the unspecified groups who basically rode you on the platform, up to the platform? The ones that got you there? The quid pro quo ones that we can expect you to one hand watch the other? Those ones? So anyway, well, hey girl, how you doing, Sega G? I'm talking about 2025 and Trump 47. Seeking to distance the campaign from what unspecified outside groups were planning, although many of those plans reflected Trump's own words. Let me say that again. Although many of those plans that he's now distancing himself from, saying that's not me, which it is not him, he has Trump 47 plan. However, notably, those were the words that many of those reflected Trump's own words. The New York Times reported a statement noticeably stopped short of disavowing the groups and seemed merely intended to discourage them from speaking to the press. Nevertheless, the campaign said it was appreciative of suggestions from like-minded organizations. Like I said, it bothers me that the KKK is so comfortable with your organization and so welcome, but I'm not. It bothers me. It truly does. That the white supremacist flag and the neo-Nazi flag flies everywhere at your rallies. It bothers me. Okay? Why are they so welcome and so comfortable with you? I don't think they would be comfortable with me. Yeah, that. Anywho, going back. But it's not him, he said. Okay. In general, these initiatives seek to help Trump avoid the mistakes of his first term, like I said. See, if those things weren't in place, then he wouldn't have got a rap on the knuckles and told no for the first time in his life. Wah. America told me no. I can't handle no. Truly, that's what we're watching. These initiatives seek to help Trump avoid the mistakes of his first term, when he arrived at the White House unprepared by reclassifying tens of thousands of merit-based federal civil service workers as political appointees in order to replace them with Trump loyalists. Some fear they would be willing to bend or break protocol or in some cases violate laws to achieve his goals. That's exactly why he wants to put in political appointees in federal government positions, because they wouldn't break the rules for him and break the laws for him. You mean like all of his Trump supporters who broke the law and decided that they were going to overthrow the government, who went to jail for him? You mean like all those ones that he didn't bother to pardon? So I guess if he gets in office again on his way out the door this time, he can pardon y'all, huh? You mean like he had those buses leave y'all at the rallies and didn't bother to pick you up? You mean like that? Anywho. So I'm like I said, you cannot go through all of this, not even in a couple of days. It's so much, it's ridiculous. It's not difficult to stop it, people. All you have to do is vote. That's it. And if it didn't matter, they wouldn't try so desperately and so hard to stop you. Wow. The two officials released a similar memo days later after Axios reported Trump intended to staff a new administration with full, proud MAGA warriors, anti-GOP establishment zealots, and eager and willing to test the boundaries of executive power to get Trump's way, which would include targeting and jailing critics in government and media. Yeah, we're gonna be in Korea, y'all. You ain't even gonna be able to criticize the king. Axios also reported on people being considered for senior positions in the second presidency, including Kash Patel, Steve Bannon. You gonna bring him back? Mike Davis, former aide to Senator Chuck Grassley. And I'm offended that you're taking my tax money paying these people. 3-week reign of terror. This is what he's promised. Chuck Grassley has promised a 3-week reign of terror should Trump name him acting attorney general. Patel had said on Bannon's podcast 2 days earlier, we will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally, what this is bothering my eye, or civilly. We'll figure out that. In June 24, Bannon named specific current or former FBI and DOJ officials who will be hunted down for alleged crimes and treason, even if they fled the country. These are the people that you want to give power to. When people tell you who they are, believe them. That is exactly what they're planning to do. Do you remember what Trump did when he got in office? Nothing. Because he spent his whole tenure just undoing what the former president had done. What a waste of time. So now you want to come back in and undo everything that Biden has done. Another waste of time. And change the law so you can just stay president. Taking our tax dollars. Wow. Wow. Project 2025. Okay, we've got to get out of here. Because this thing goes on forever and ever and ever. I'm just going to put a note here. This is where I stopped. Because, there is so much. And you're going to have to go to some of the video. Because it is just too much to cover in one setting. And you do need to look at it. And you do need to look at 47 as well. Trump 47. Because they have some of the same players. And they have some of the same end goals. And they're really not that far apart. Of course, he's going to distance himself from it now because everyone, hey, Regina Bina, girl, what you doing up here? I'm about to get up out of here. You just now showing up. I was talking about the 2025 thing and all the stuff that is going on and that we're going to have to go through it. And it's so much. That thing is 920 pages long. And so, yeah, it's going to take, delving into, there are a couple people who are doing it right now and they're going by line by line and brick by brick. And so I'm going to go back into it further next week. I'm going to try to finish off on 2025 next week because I'm just going through bits and pieces of it. If you want to know who all the players are, like I said, watch the movie Bad Faith. It's on Tubi TV. You got to watch it. It'll explain it to you. As I journey on. Yeah. Hey, girl. I miss you, Gina Boo. I was out at church last night singing. Girl, it was throwing down rain out here, buckets. Come go with me. Hey, Lawrence Green. Hey, dude, it's good to see you. I think it was your brother's birthday, right, recently? Tell him I say happy birthday. Yes. So until next time, you guys, this is Arlene's Renaissance. I'm out of here. Y'all stay blessed.